You're struggling.
No sign of a struggle.
Without even a struggle?
Hey, welcome to TalkWord. You know, we believe that some words, you can't just look them up in a dictionary. You have to hear their story. And today, we've got a really powerful one for you, the word struggle. We're going to unlock its meaning by looking at one of the most incredible comeback stories in all of sports.
All right, so let's just start with this. I love struggling. I mean, seriously, who says that? It just sounds wrong, doesn't it? Most of us, we spend our lives trying to avoid struggling. But here's the thing. This quote is from a world champion figure skater. And figuring out why she would say something like this, well, that's the whole key to understanding what struggle really means.
So, who said it? Her name is Alysa Liu. And if you follow figure skating, you definitely know her. She was this absolute phenom. But her journey, it's like a perfect story to explain the word struggle because it shows you every single side of it. Her story really has two parts, like a before and an after.
So let's jump into that first part. We can call it the Prodigy's price. And yeah, this is where all the pressure starts to build.
And just look at this timeline. It's insane how fast everything happened for her. I mean, at just 13 years old, she becomes the youngest U.S. women's champion in history. Then she does it again at 14. By 16, she makes the Olympic team. On paper, this is the perfect dream career, right? But then, look at that last bullet point. At 16, at the absolute peak of her game, she just quits. So the big question is, why?
And this right here, this explains everything. You've got these two completely different perspectives. For Alysa, skating wasn't fun anymore. It was a job, a huge burden that basically stole her childhood. But then you look at it from her dad's side. Now, he meant well, but for him it was a massive investment. She even called it his business. We're talking up to $1 million spent. So for her, it just felt like she was being pushed and managed and totally controlled.
So yeah, right after the Olympics in 2022, she'd had enough. She was done. And she announced it on Instagram, which you can imagine just shocked the entire skating community. All she wanted was to be a normal teenager, go on road trips, go hiking. Just live a little without that constant pressure cooker. She had to get out. But that is not where her story ends. Not even close. This brings us to the second act, a champion's return. And this, right here, is where that word we're talking about, struggle, completely changes. So after being away for almost 2 years, she decided to come back. But this time, it was gonna be different. She came back with her own set of rules. And these weren't just, demands. They were basically a declaration of independence. She was going to pick her own music, be part of the creative process, control her own schedule, even what she ate. She was finally taking back the controls. And what happened? The result was unbelievable. Just one single year after getting back on the ice, Alysa Liu became the world champion. People in the sport called it unheard of. It just doesn't happen. And she did it completely her way. Okay, so now that we have her story, let's actually look at the word itself. Let's break down the anatomy of struggle, and we'll see how it fits perfectly with what Alysa went through.
So here's the dictionary definition, and I want you to notice there are really two big ideas packed in here. The first part is about trying to get free from something holding you back, something restraining you. But the second part is just about, pushing forward with a ton of effort even when something's really, really hard.
And this is the whole point, right? The word struggle kind of has two different personalities. Alysa's first career, that was a struggle against restraint. She was fighting to get free from being controlled, from that feeling of being burdened. But her comeback, her second career, that's a struggle of effort. It's still super hard, obviously, but it's a hard thing that she chooses. It's a challenge she decided to take on to see how far she could push herself.
And this brings us full circle, right back to that quote from the beginning. We can finally understand what she meant. It's about finding that feeling of being alive, not in the pain of it all, but in the effort that you choose for yourself.
So let's ask that question one more time, but now that we know her whole story. Why on earth would someone love to struggle? What was she really saying?
When she says she loves struggling, she's not talking about that first kind of struggle, the one where you feel trapped. No way. She's talking about the feeling of pushing yourself, of being at practice and deciding on your own to do just one more rep, even when you're exhausted and no one is making you. It's that choice, that voluntary effort for your own dream. That's what makes her feel alive.
And that's really the heart of it all. Her true struggle wasn't the insane physical difficulty of being an elite figure skater. The real struggle was doing it all without a voice, without any say in her own life. Now that the effort is all hers, it's not a burden anymore. It's her passion.
It's amazing, isn't it? Alysa's story adds so much meaning to just a single word, and it really makes you think, what other stories are hiding behind the words we use every single day?
So I'm curious, what words have a special story for you? If you want to dive deeper, you can actually explore them yourself with our companion app, TalkWord. It's pretty cool. It lets you create your own short audio explainers for any words you want to learn and really make your own. Definitely check it out. Thanks so much for joining me.
Now he begs you to help him in his struggle against the Empire.
Everyone's struggling.